Quiet.
Hello, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to Ghosts of the Unknown. Sorry to tell you, but Andy can't be with us tonight, so you've got me instead. Off the shoulder goes.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
Oh no! What is that? Oh dear!
Ryan.
Snowman.
Ryan,
Yeah.
you introducing yourself and Ellen?
Hi, everyone knows me, Lord Alan III. Nice to meet you.
And I'm Ryan. And tonight is our guest. We've got Richard, and
Hello.
later on, Karen will be coming on.
Hello, everyone. Who's this
Okay.
thing up the top here? What's this? What's this horrible white towel
What's this
monster who's trying to stick his tongue through a little hole, but it's not happening? What beast lies underneath the cloth?
It's got very long eyelashes.
Oh, who can it be?
Is it John
Very
Merrick
long eyelashes.
reincarnated? It's the Elephant Man.
Yeah. John Merrick.
Oh, he's disappeared. Oh, I think I've offended him there. Oh no! It's worse. It's worse. What's going on?
Oh, it's worse.
It's Willy Wonka.
Yeah, right, everyone.
Oh,
my God.
Where'd you get that hat?
Well,
Where did you get that hat?
steampunk. It's my steampunk hat.
Is she what? Punk cat?
Steampunk.
Never heard of him or her or them.
Yeah.
Whatever they are.
Anyway, hi everyone. So hot underneath that. Oh my God, I couldn't breathe.
That's like an original start.
It'd have been funny if you'd have passed out.
It was so close, so close. Oh, right. So tonight we're going to be talking about UFOs. Yeah. Who wants to go first? Who wants to start us off?
Yeah.
Alan? Ryan?
Oh, Ryan upstairs.
Go, Ryan.
Yeah, said Ryan.
I thought this was Celebrity Squares, so Ryan.
No.
Right. No, not celebrity upstairs, mate. No.
Yes, Ryan got a new book today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Ryan got his new book.
I'll show you it.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
It's written by Nick Pope. He was the Ministry of Defence UFO manager for 21 years. So obviously I've only got sort of 8 pages in. Can't seem to pull it down. But it goes into a detail about it, basically, more than what obviously the documentaries are out there. So, is that what we want to start off with then, Andy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you started reading
But before we do go on, I've got something to show you.
Oh no!
Oh,
You're not going to stand up, are you?
No.
His legs.
No.
Anything can happen.
We've got the beaver.
Oh my God! It's a hairy beaver. You remember? And
No swearing.
It's not £200 though, but it'll do all right.
Damn,
Nice fluffy hairy beaver.
Fluffy. Nice name.
So yeah, that was my little surprise.
Have you started reading the book yet?
I have started reading the book. Yeah, this afternoon when I got it, because I've been waiting for it for over a week. But it's really good so far. I ain't really got anything to tell you up to now. Okay. It's just sort of I got into the intro and just sort of gone by who was involved in that.
Can I just say something before we carry on?
Yeah.
I got it slightly wrong last week. Now, there's 2 UK wells. The original UK Roswell is the one in Rendlesham Forest is it 1983, whatever year it was. And then the other one was the one that happened in Wales, which was 2006, I think it was. I can't remember. They're on the Facebook page anyway, but without looking, I couldn't tell you when it is. Just see if I can find it.
Was this the Welsh one?
What was the one in Wales, Andy?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
So the one at Rendlesham was the 26th of December 1980 to the 28th, and the one in Wales, it was 1974. It was in Berwyn Mountain on the 23rd of January. There's lights and noise that were observed that were allegedly to be related to a UFO sighting on Cader Berwyn in Cader Bromwyn. That's if you pronounced it right. And that was a Welsh Roswell incident. So there's 2 in total, or 2 that I know of. So you got one in Wales, and then obviously the one in the UK. So that was it.
Can I ask what happened in Wales? Was it a proper sighting like Rendlesham? Did they actually touch something, or was it a crash? Or
the one in Rendlesham was the black triangular shaped craft that somebody touched. Ryan's got the glyphs off the side of it. He's not got the actual ones, but he's got a copy of them. Freaky if he did have the actual ones. And that happened on the first night. They seen lights and noises through the forest trees, and they went following them. Anyway, 2 nights later, loads of military reporting it, and was it the top guy of the military? He went out and was like, "I'm going to go in, check it out for myself." And he found all these scorch marks and like plants and grass that had stopped growing and everything.
Okay. Did you go, Brian, to Rendlesham Forest?
No, but that that is the place I want to go to.
I was going to say, I wonder if there's grass where
camping out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to go Cannock Chase as well. But I also definitely want to go there. But I definitely want to go Rendlesham Forest as well.
There's a place down near the New Forest called Devil's Bowl. Don't know if anyone's heard of it.
No.
Right down on the south coast. So there's supposed to be stuff going on there, but I'm in the middle of finding out exactly what's going on. So I'll probably do that as a podcast. So that's it. There's this spot on there. There's another one in Scotland. So I've got England, Wales, and Scotland so far. I've not heard about the Scottish one.
Is it the one in Scotland, Debs? Is it the one up near Ben Nevis?
I find that.
I'm pretty sure it's Ben Nevis. Yeah, I have as well. Apparently, I'm pretty sure it was up there.
Is it?
Yeah. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I've not even heard of that one. Oh, someone's coming back. Someone's coming back. Say hello.
It's got a bit of an attachment to you, Andy, that ghost.
Yeah.
I just love the eyelashes.
At the minute.
It's a female as well, because look at them eyelashes.
How many blokes wearing off the shoulder top?
Only you, Andy.
Wow. Says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, well.
Ryan, can I ask? Ryan, can I ask? What has Nick Pope supposedly said in this book that he hasn't before? Because the case was back in the 80s. Yeah. So there must have been quite a lot of information. What's held back, you know?
I think he's held back stuff that obviously at the time he was working for them, for the MOD. Obviously I think they have to sign obviously a Secrets Act, that kind of thing. So there's only so much you can say at the time, unless you want your career sort of, into shreds and that kind of thing. But it's since then, I think the book came out in 2013, about 7 years ago. Well, 7 or 8 years ago. So there's there's more witnesses, and also the personnel at the time, they've come out and give more detail as well. But there's a lot of interviews on the internet with them, but the book goes into a lot more detail, which is why I purchased it.
Is it an updated version as well? Is it up to date? Is it up to date? Was the writing sort of published 2019 or so?
Hang on. I'm just going to try and find it.
Now, here's a question that I got with.
If you can see that.
No,
not really.
London.
Published in 2014, so obviously. But again, it's got in this book. It's got pictures of the actual official statements from the Ministry of Defence, the sketches of what the UFO actually looked like from one of the American military personnel, the letters that some of the congressmen out in America sent to Barack Obama at the time to release more information than what they had.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, basically. And it's also got, remember it had the binary code?
Yes.
One of the personnel, Jim Peniston, he basically touched this UFO.
That's like a download or something, didn't he? From it?
Yeah, and it was like basically the binary, zeros and ones. He then wrote this down. I think it was about 72 hours after his encounter, and they've translated that. And what it translates to is where the case gets absolutely.
Does it say how they've translated it?
They've got people that can write. Obviously, they've got the people that know how to translate it, I suppose.
Well, if it's binary, it'd be quite easy, wouldn't it? Really?
Well, I wouldn't know how to do it, but
binary.
I mean,
it's supposed to be like Morse code, wouldn't it? It's the same thing.
Binary. It's the language of scientists, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, just on off.
Yeah, basically, it's giving a couple of messages. All the code was translated. I've got it here. That's the translation. If you want me, basically, read a couple of messages, and then
read a couple.
So the first one, it says exploration of humanity, continuous for planetary advancement, eyes of your eyes, and then it gives the origin year of 8,100. But then it also, some of the binary code, it translates into coordinates for some of the most sacred and interesting places around Europe, the world, like the Great Pyramids of Giza, the Nazca Lines, the Temple of Apollo in Greece, what is it, the Caracol in Belize, and Sedona, Arizona, wherever that is. So, and also the coordinates for a place called High Brazil, which is an island, which is an unknown sort of coordinate, but it's High Brazil, and that's it's not on our maps now.
Have you heard of that, Andy?
Scotland.
It's off. It's off. It's off Ireland.
Okay.
It's in Irish folklore,
though, isn't it? Yeah, it was a country. It'd been on maps up till about, I think it's about 500 years ago, and then they just stopped putting it on the maps.
Yeah.
Why? Why? If it's there,
because it's been.
I just think
it's not there, is it?
Or something. But I've just been given some. Oh, sorry, 1 second. A report about Rendlesham. Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, please.
Right, so there's a bear spotted in Rendlesham Forest in the 1980s. 3 visitors to the notoriously paranormal Rendlesham Forest have contacted the Evening Star to say that they've spotted the creatures roaming in the woods in the last few days. Jenny Pearce, who said, "I was on the green at Rendlesham Forest having a picnic with my 3-year-old son and his friend's family. After the picnic, we stayed to play, and explored the woods. While we were in the forest, I saw a large animal moving through the trees. I thought it was a big dog, so I picked up my son because he had never really got into dogs and gets easily scared. But as it continued away from us, it was clearly not a dog. It was much bigger, and there wasn't anyone there to be walking it if it was a large dog.
Ooh.
And I think the only thing that she could put it down to was it being a bear.
Yeah, but there's no bears in England.
Well, no. But this is what we were saying when we was on BBR the other day. I said about there being no bears, but if you don't know what anything is, the first thing you're going to say is it's a bear.
Yeah.
Because it's recognisable.
Yeah.
People recognise it.
Hairy, bipedal, the right height. It's what looks like, isn't it? Yeah.
You've got a bear on its hind legs. It's like what, 7-8 foot tall.
Yeah, easy.
So, but there's another one here as well. Has anyone heard of the Rendlesham stick being?
Stick
No.
being? No.
Yeah.
Slender Man.
In 2016, he was made of brilliant white light. We have a friend who knows Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk like the back of his hand. We had been on several sky watches and night walks through the forest with her. On one such occasion, about 3 years ago, we were there on a really clear, calm night when we decided to go up the burrows quite deep into the forest. As we sat there talking, we looked across a clearing to a dense part of the trees across the other side from us. Bearing in mind it was fairly late into the night, nothing really happens there until after 10 o'clock it seems. So it was dark, but with a fairly bright moon. Suddenly, from out of the trees along the side of the clearing and eventually disappearing back into the forest, was what appeared to be what I can only describe as a kind of a large stick being, comprising purely of individual lines made of brilliant white light. As for height, I would have guessed it was around 6 to 7 feet tall, and he was running very fast. Its limbs were moving rapidly back and forth, as we would do if we were to run in that way. My husband and I were stunned and turned to our friend to see if she'd also seen it. She had told us that she often saw them in the forest, as had many other people. Of course, it was all over too quickly to take a picture. Nothing else occurred that night other than my husband physically seeing streaks of coloured light. So with it being like a stick figure, this is just my opinion, but we do if it's from a different dimension, depending on what the dimensions are, we might only see part of it rather than all of it. So we might only see it in a 2-dimensional form, as opposed to like a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th dimension, so on and so on. Or if it's coming in from another dimension, but it's not fully in, we're only going to see like a flat sheet of paper. So there might be behind that hasn't come through. That's just a theory, if you get what I'm saying. Same as when you see UFOs, you might only see part of it. That might be the tip of it. There might be another 300-400 foot of it behind, but it's not all of it is coming to a dimension. So it's like sticking your finger through a piece of paper. Say you've got that, but you're not seeing that. But you're not seeing the hand it's attached to. You're just getting a glimpse.
Yeah, we can. You've just shown us.
Shut up, Ellen. Told you I'm going to do all night. He's telling to shut up. But do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
Does it say what the head's like, or can they see a head or anything like that?
No, they just said it is bright white stick figure.
Just bright, so all they can see is like
running like that,
like a French fry.
I presume.
It's like backwards and forwards, didn't you?
Like a stick drawing. But he said it was running rapidly through the trees when it come out and then ran back into the trees. I've heard that before. But I've heard of that. I've heard of that happening. There's another podcast that I listen to. Something similar like that happened in America. But I'd have to find it to get the full details of where it was and when it happened. I know it definitely wasn't the UK. I'm gonna have to take this hat off. Believe it or not, it's hurting me neck.
It's in your neck. Was it made out of lead?
May as well be. Oh, feels
Willy
like
Wonka.
Oh,
very elegant. Yeah, so that's it.
What an incredible
that's a bit strange, though. That is, isn't it?
yeah.
How far away was they again?
Say,
Does it say how far away they was?
It doesn't say how far. It doesn't say how far, but there wasn't a face because it was a stick man. So a stick man's not going to have a face. He's not going to have a 3D face and a 2D body, is it?
And because it was glowing white as well, you couldn't see much.
No. I'm presuming it was
just a running stick.
Like that.
Yeah, okay.
You see it? I presume it's some that to me that's a stick man.
Yeah.
That's a stick man, yeah.
But then if it's not fully in our dimension, you're not going to see all of it. Whether that's just me thinking that or whatever, I don't know, but that's what I believe.
They're very creepy places. They harbour so many weird energies.
In the day.
Yeah, they do, Rich.
Yeah. Real creepy places.
Have you seen what Deb's put in the chat? She did see a face, apparently.
No, she didn't see a face.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah. It's right. The writing's that small. I'm just.
Where do you think you got?
Where's that magnifying glass gone?
Just there, mate. Yeah. Have them.
Lord Alan the Turd.
Yeah,
why do you think I knew the answer to it?
Alan the Turd? Twice removed and put back again.
There's obviously. That's what makes that place fascinating for me. Is because of why these sort of UFOs go in there. One of my
next to a military base.
Yeah, I know that, but it was what they used to do at that military base. Is what used to keep there.
Yeah.
If you looked on Google Maps, have you seen the actual layout of it?
Well, I've driven. The thing is, I've driven through Thetford loads of times. I've driven through Rendlesham.
There's obviously the watchtowers along.
I have. I've seen 2 watchtowers. Yeah, I've seen 2 watchtowers at Rendlesham.
Yeah, I think that's
something about Rendlesham that's more appealing to me than Thetford. It's just the different type of energy. Because even though I was driving through, I did pull up while the windows down and.
Can you describe the energy that you felt, and
it's like an adrenaline. You're like you with Cannock Chase, your obsession.
Yeah,
it's like
butterflies.
Don't mention Cannock Chase, for God's sake. Somebody will complain about it. Yeah, somebody will say something now.
So, what they used to keep there was nuclear arms there, and that's the reason why they reckon the UFO was at.
We'll be back in a minute.
Site.
Yeah, it's possibly because obviously different bases have different armaments, don't they?
Yeah.
Or should say house different armaments.
There's a part of the map where there's like buildings, but they're like sort of turfed over, so they look like as if they're just humps in the ground. Apparently, they're just entrances to where they store the missiles, the nuclear missiles, and then within that sort of storage unit, the floor at the back of the building drops lower down, and then there's a massive basically the base that's there is what's below as well.
It's like these mountains.
You'll get that with where they've got turf over them. It's to camouflage it when a plane flies over.
Yeah.
If you go, I drive past Duxford Airport quite a lot, and a few of their hangars have got grass going over, so you can't see what's there. You're flying over, just look flat.
Yeah, but that's where they used to have these nuclear things. Yeah,
but I've delivered to Portadown. I was telling Ryan about it last week. Portadown is part of the MOD. They have armed police on the gate. That's how secure it is. And I used to install photocopies anyway. We've gone down there, and you have to wait at the entrance, and then some person will come and meet you, jump in the van with you, and you drive down to where it's going. each building has its own security. So if you have access to one building, doesn't necessarily give you access to the next building.
Yeah.
So it's all got like
different security
systems.
electric
fence and all that. So I asked this guy, I said, what is it you do down here? I didn't think he was going to answer me. When we do experiments for the military. And that was all I asked him. And it's like, it's a massive place.
Deep stuff, mate. They do
He's
some
not
deep stuff.
there. Yeah, there's no way you could go walking on there without being seen. There's so many, there's cameras on every wall, every corner, every 10, 20, 30 foot, you got cameras.
I bet there's mics on there as well, so they can hear you.
Electric fencing, it's like 10, 12 foot high, razor wire at the top. There's no way you'd ever get it. But it's like, but as soon as you said experiments for the military, it's just like.
Of course, it's going to be top security.
It just makes you, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what they created down there. The dog man.
And that isn't far from Stonehenge. It's about a 10, 15-minute drive. So
another strange place.
But I do know. Sorry, just quickly. I think I've mentioned this before. I do know a guy who's like really good source because of the job that he's done. I'm not going to say that because when he finding out who he is, he used to be an electrician. Anyway, hey,
the MIB will beat your door.
So anyway, he said he went down. There's a few guys there that was doing like construction work and that. They'd gone down into one part of it. And there's this big, like, all these different things in jars. And in one of the glass cabinets, there's a massive two-headed dog. He doesn't know if it was a dog, could have been a wolf. It was a canine anyway, like the body and everything. And it had two necks and two skulls. So he's not the sort of person that'll lie about something like that.
And this was on the site?
This was at Portadown, yeah. This guy had gone doing some electrical work or something, and he'd gone into the wrong room by mistake. And he'd gone into this room, and it was all like jars of stuff and shit behind like glass cabinets and all that. Basically, the person that told me is a governor of a prison. That's all I can tell you.
Not
so he's not going to lie about something like that.
No.
Yeah.
So.
It's mad. Yeah.
There's a lot of mad stuff out there.
Yeah.
There's more mad stuff than you think is out there.
Yeah. Absolute crazy shit.
Than you can think.
Yeah.
Well, it's like that saying, isn't it? They always say reality is much stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's true, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So just to change the subject, I'm just looking at the comments and Deborah.
That's Phil Schneider.
Phil Schneider. Yeah, I mean that is another weird case.
Yeah.
If you've looked into that, I mean, I watched an interview and the next day he was found dead, weren't he?
Suspiciously.
Yeah, was that him that was?
Yes.
Was he in a suitcase?
No, he was strangled.
No, he got strangled.
Strangled by you know that rubber stuff that you use for slingshots. Yeah, you know that rubber stuff like hosing. He was strangled by that. Apparently, it was suicide, but
was he the one in the wheelchair or not?
No,
I might think it's somebody else.
Melted fingers. He had melted fingers in his chest was all. Well, he seemed to reckon that he got hit by an alien being and it opened him up and melted his fingers. That was it. And literally, the guy's fingers is all melted and you can't ever take that away.
Beam when he's dropping bombs underground, yes. Yeah, I know that story.
And he also said that the creatures resembled just like E.T.
He choked, it was a pipe off his colostomy bag.
That's right, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yes. So I know this story. He apparently they don't call it suicide because there's no proof that he did it to himself. It's something. So you got homicide, suicide. It's something aside, but I can't think what it's called. But everyone knows it wasn't suicide and it was the government that did it.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying he couldn't even tie it, Andy, because of his hand was
so
mangled.
His hands were all right.
You know, so
he called it like lobster fingers.
And also,
he couldn't move. He was housebound without the aid of somebody else being there.
I actually saw the forensic photos after they found him.
Yeah,
what he looked like.
Yeah.
And it was, it wasn't very nice to look at, like, but.
Whereabouts can you find that?
It was on the documentary. It's on Amazon Prime.
Right, I'm going to have to watch that.
Could I just add a little something to this?
It's called Underground. It's called Underground. The what's his name again?
Bill Snyder.
Bill Snyder.
Phil.
Yeah.
But it's called Underground, Bill Snyder's story or something like that.
Listen to the full story. It tells you everything about his life. He didn't come out and tell everyone about it until there was nothing left for him. He threatened to kill his parents, his family,
some of his colleagues.
Anybody he had contact with, they said he won't see him again. Put it that way.
Well, some of his colleagues mysteriously died of mysterious circumstances.
No. Deb Singerton's put the term that's it, suicided. That's it.
Do you know?
Suicided.
A month before he died, he addressed one of his conferences and said he's not suicidal. So if anything did happen to him, it wouldn't be by his own hand.
Yeah.
So that is true.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember that.
Just another quick one. This is so essential. If everyone's very familiar about Valiant Thor, do you all know about Valiant Thor? No. Well, Valiant Thor is an alien that's meant to have worked with the government officials. If you Google the name, you'll see all the information coming up about him. Phil Schneider said that his father used to work with Valiant Thor and told him all about him. He was evidently from Venus, and he had a ship, and he had 3 other people that accompanied him. What happened is Phil actually gave evidence and showed a photo of Valiant Thor sitting at the front of the conference and his father sitting behind. So it all comes into play. There's a lot of things that he said that was actually true, and he backed it up with photos and stuff like that. So
yes, I have heard of that one.
Look up Valiant Thor, because that's a really good story in itself,
Wow.
That ties it all in nicely.
Yeah.
He was a very clever man, Phil Schneider, because he was a demolitions expert. He wasn't actually a Marine or anything, so he was completely impartial, didn't even want a firearm. So, and with that thing that happened with him when he got attacked, right, I think there was about 70 Marines that went in to tackle this problem that they encountered. Then people had to be transferred out and went to the general hospital in the area, right? At the time, this was about 7 or 8 years ago, I'd done the research on this. It was confirmed that then people did go in the hospital and everything was classified for what the Marines.
They had a big battle down there, didn't they, between the American army and the alien race or whatever.
Yeah.
Wasn't they just drilling, though? They was just drilling down.
Correct.
And they come across this tunnel, and they got into the tunnel. There's like 6 or 7 different races in there. And one of them had a gun, and something like the gun just disintegrated. Then he shot a blue beam into his chest, and that's when he went all funny with it. And they ended up dropping a bomb in there and just closing it all, because this battle went on for like 2 hours or something, and just they weren't killing them. So they pretty much blocked them in. So this is why I believe in the inner Earth, hollow Earth. There's definitely something, whether it's tunnels and cave systems or whatever. I believe there are. Don't know. Would you call them alien life forms? Different life forms living inside the Earth.
Different. That's better.
How do you not know that we're not the aliens and that they've been here longer than us?
That's exactly
you know
right.
What, you're probably
do you know
true.
what I mean?
You are probably true.
But we was on about that on BBR live feed, wasn't we, Tuesday?
Yeah. That's the thing, we don't know.
No.
I still think
because we can only go by our
DNA.
written word, can't we, really? What humans have written. That's all we can go by.
What you've been told, science,
and half of it's been deleted.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, it might not be the truth in the first place.
No. Yeah.
It's like, can I just say this thing? I said to Ryan about it the other week, and this has always puzzled me about how we see stuff and all that. So when you're at school and you're learning everything and you're learning colours, so they'll point at a colour and go, that's red, that's blue, that's green, that's yellow. So you're learning your colours. Yeah? You can't really describe a colour, can you? How do you know your green is the same green as I'm looking at, or the same as what Richard's looking at? You get what I mean? You can't describe a colour, so you're told that's red, whereas your red might be blue, or Richard's red might be black.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing without having the other person's eyes.
Or getting them together and saying, okay, what colour do you think that is?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because they've been told that that specific colour is that specific name.
Yeah, but if you get them all together in a room and say, right, okay, what have they told you what that is?
No, you're not getting, no, I don't mean it like that. So that wall behind you, right, Alan, is red. Yeah?
What wall?
Now, as I'm looking at your living room wall.
I know.
Yeah.
He's going to go, no,
so
it's
that's
white.
red.
It's white.
Yeah. But you might have been told that my colour red could be your colour white. But
yeah, I don't get that. That don't compute with me. I don't get what you mean. Right. Doesn't make sense to me, that.
Does anyone else understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
No, not blind.
Okay.
It's like, right, that's a circle. Yeah, you can see it's a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a square. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you can't go this colour and you can't describe a colour. So your colour red, we all see it as the same colour, but the description of it is different, is what I'm saying. And that's what I mean about different races in the Earth. Yeah, that's it. You mean you only know what you are told. So whatever you're told, that you're told that's red, you're told that's green, but it might be different to other people. Yeah?
I got you.
Are we on about humans or different races?
Same thing.
Don't matter.
Oh, yeah, you're right there. You're right there.
It's like a bit similar to. Have you seen that Peter Kay thing where he was on about with them music lyrics and he shows you a picture and then shows you a picture of a vicar or something and then puts the lyrics of like that "We Are Family" song and it's lyrics out of that song. Have I told you about it, Andy?
Yes. It's
a bit similar to that. So if you're put with a picture and you're showed a picture and then you hear it apparently it's. Yeah, it's supposed to sort of
like the dress, the blue and orange, yellow and green, or whatever it was, and people would see it different.
Basically, what you hear is what you think you can see, type of thing.
I sent you one with a cat,
it showed you a picture of a vicar, and then apparently the lyrics in the song was "Let's put a staple in the vicar," but but the song doesn't say "Let's put a staple in the vicar." But when he shows you a picture,
and then
sounds like it. But it sounds like it, and then it goes about.
And it can sound like 4 or 5 different things, and everyone is a different version.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Power of suggestion.
Yeah, it's a bit like where there's like the one that Michael Jackson song. It was like, and the burgers are the best. Like it's that sort of thing. But have you not seen it?
Karaoke?
No, sorry. I'll it's just that's what got me brain ticking. What you were saying, Andy. A bit similar.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But that's the only way I can describe it is with colours, because you can't describe a colour.
Well, no, you can't really. Well, apart from blue.
orange.
Hold on, what's this got to do with Phil Schneider anyway, boys?
Yeah.
Well, that's what's.
It's all
Blame Andy. Blame Andy.
Being told that a certain thing is what it is, and that's it. Whereas everyone can see it, you could see it completely different to what the next person sees it.
I see everything completely different to everybody anyway, so.
Yes, but that's none.
I know what you're going to say, but stop.
I'm going to say anything.
Oh, I knew what you were saying. I could read your mind. I could read your mind.
I mean,
so what else is that? Sorry, go on.
Sorry, right. Also, I believe that Phil Schneider's father was a Nazi U-boat captain as well.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
I know he was working for the government as well, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His father was heavily deep into it as well. That's about all I remember.
Makes sense with the last name Schneider.
Yeah.
Does sound a bit German, doesn't it?
Yeah. To me, it does. It wonders why he was so knowledgeable in the first place about it all.
Yeah.
A bit like the Roswell incident, New Mexico, America, when they had that spacecraft and it crashed, and they had the beings.
Weather balloon. It was a weather balloon.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very big hot air balloon.
It was Chinese lantern.
It's so big.
Yeah, Chinese.
So big, the military had to move it.
Chinese microlight.
Yeah, there's a few though. No, carry on.
He's been
just trying to remember stuff. What?
The UFOs. Sorry, I'll just tell you quickly. UFOs has been like my main subject out of all the paranormal, like unknown stuff. It's mainly been UFOs and aliens. I've got books, like I said before, by Timothy Good. Watched Ancient Aliens. Pretty much everything on Amazon, YouTube, all different video clips, and it's fascinating because of, do they come from different times and planets, or do they cross same? It's like it's saying about Dogman and that. Do they cross dimensions? Are they already living on Earth, and we just don't know about it?
I think some are, and they have been for quite a while.
I know, because they do, and they've admitted this, reverse engineer a lot of the technology. But we are still so far behind when it comes to technology. We're further back than what we was 100,000 years ago.
I disagree massively.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
No.
I reckon there's a big smoke screen. I do, Andy. I also reckon that NASA's just there just to satisfy our curiosity of what we can see. So it's just like a PR stunt. So off they go. There's another rocket. Tell them the narrative. Don't forget, there's loads of subcontractors now that are actually doing jobs that you don't know anything about. And SpaceX is just one. Then you got what Bigelow's into and all of that. You just throw a spanner straight into the works. You know, I
don't believe NASA
is up to something suspicious as well. They're not disclosing what they're up to. So.
Yeah, I don't believe NASA.
NASA stands for National Anal
Nonsense. But it's just, I don't know. It's like with the moon landing. It's like with the moon landing.
That's just what I was.
They went to the moon. We've not been able to do it because they've lost our knowledge of how to get there.
Yeah, like you would lose all that data, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
How do they think with that?
Apparently, it was found in boxes in some guy's garage that he was doing a yard sale.
Yeah, just like that. Oh.
Yeah. It was a technology on how to build the rocket and how to launch it and to get it through the Van Allen belt.
Yeah. Yeah, they still never answered that one properly about the Van Allen belt. They never answered it properly.
They never will, probably.
No, they won't. They'll just skirt around it. I've asked an astronaut on a radio program about 5 years ago. He was inviting people to ask him questions. I thought, right, I'm having him. Right, spent about 15 minutes trying to get through. Asked him about the Van Allen belt. Guess what he done, boys? I swear to God, this is true. He skirted round the whole thing of getting through the Van Allen belt. Went on for about 10 minutes. Never answered. And moved on to someone else and left me still with a question mark, not answered it.
Oh, do you know? I've looked up at how thick the Van Allen belt is. Its shortest bit is 25 miles. Ranges all the way up to over 400 miles thick.
Yeah.
Oh, about
how can they judge
school then?
Yeah. How can they judge the flight path, so that they project and go through the 25-mile?
It's even getting through the microwaves. Didn't they say it's like 7 inches of lead that it'd go through? It's crazy.
When they did the test, I can't remember which astronaut it was, and they put him in the suit inside of one of the pods, put him in this room, and they put loads of radiation in it. He said even with the visor, which was blacked out like twice thick as a welder's visor, he had his eyes shut, he still could see sparks in between his eyes and his eyelids, and that was the radiation burning through. So how are they going to, that was for like 10 seconds, how are they going to last 25 miles through pure radiation outside the Earth's atmosphere?
And I'm not sure about this, I'll have to double check, but I was under the impression as well that spacesuits are tested under the water. So, like, literally for the air and everything like that, they're tested under the water. I'm sure someone raised the question of Neil Armstrong's suit that they had, saying he'd done a spacewalk in it. And they said, about the radiation or something. And the guy that was doing it said it wasn't radiation that it was covering, it was just insulation from being cold there. So he actually dismissed that, the spacesuit had any radiation properties to repel rays or whatever. But he says just insulation, keep him warm. And
have any of you ever seen the interview that they did when they supposedly come back from the moon?
I've seen clips.
And there's the three astronauts were there. Was it Buzz Aldrin? Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong. I can't remember the third one.
Oh, nobody can remember that guy.
No, I would if he heard it.
Press conference.
So when they was, that was it. So when they was asking him about what it was like and all that, Neil Armstrong's face, he sat there like he looked so disappointed and so fed up, like proper like. If you've just been to the moon and back, you're going to be bouncing off walls. I would be.
You've seen things not any other human seen. You've been to places that only privileged have been. I would be bragging on about it for ages.
Oh,
you'd be that excited
for the rest of your life. You'd be like Ellen in Cannock Chase.
Yeah.
But you would. You'd be so buzzing about it. And he's just sat there with a face like slapped ass, just like no enthusiasm or what. But you could see the disappointment in his face. And I think it was more the fact that they was lying that they've been, and he didn't want to lie to everyone because apparently he's not that sort of person.
No, Neil wasn't. Buzz was more of the yes man, wasn't he?
Excuse the pun, he was more down to earth.
Neil Armstrong was a devout Christian as well. He was a man of God, and his
didn't want to
whole
lie.
Life went to. He got a divorce over it. Now you think about this, right? Because I've thought about it. If you're an astronaut, you've signed the Secrets Act or whatever. You've been in a privileged position. You've gone somewhere. You've come back. Your mission's been accomplished. You're an ambassador for NASA for the rest of your life. You'll always be looked after. Now, if you saw things that you just think you want to share with your family or your friends, or on a need to know basis for humanitarian reasons or whatever for humanity, would you tell them, or would you keep quiet? You can't tell them, so you couldn't.
I couldn't keep quiet.
Yeah, see, a bit like me, it's you feel a need to, you have to tell people, you know.
You'd have to tell at least one person.
Yeah.
If you look at it, yeah, I agree with you there,
Your
mate.
most trusted friend,
nearest and dearest.
Like that,
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, he got a divorce, he turned to God, and he never done any interviews or anything. It was very rare when he done an interviews. And in fact, if you look up this, it's true. His signature was very sought after because he hardly ever give one. Now, I reckon, to me, his body language, by looking at it, that's a man who's embarrassed and trapped about deceiving people. So, like, everyone thinks it is, you know, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon and all this. He always looks like he's really disappointed in interviews, as though he doesn't want to go too much in it. And unlike Buzz, who's obviously writing books, going out, doing talks, earning loads of money in his 90s, even though he could have happily retired, you know,
Buzz
gone down the world.
Buzz was the yes man.
Oh, he's a bullshitter. You know.
Yeah. He was always doing the interviews. He was always on the shows.
But with the saying as well, if it was faked, they couldn't do it because there's too many people they'd have to lie to. That's a load of crap. The only people that would have to know the truth
is a handful.
The astronauts and the people that are running it. 3-4 different people.
Handful of people.
The rest of them, mission control and all the communications and IT and everybody else that's working in the background, they don't need to know it's been done in the studio. To them, they've gone to the moon. They've seen it take off. They've waited X amount of time. It's landed. They believe it's on the moon. 10 people in that room, other than the astronauts, know the truth that it never actually went to the moon. So you don't need to lie, all these people to lie. You just need the handful of people to deceive everyone else, and everyone believes it.
Exactly, a good lie will spread. There you go. So you don't. You're absolutely right. I totally agree with you there. Totally agree.
Yeah. So it's not that difficult to.
Ryan.
Anybody?
Hello, Ryan. He's mute again.
Oh, he's on mute. I wondered what was going on there.
For God's sake, you're joking.
What are you doing, Ryan? Is it the beaver? Is it the beaver?
It's this, isn't it?
The beaver. The return of the beaver.
Gary the beaver.
Can I just tell everyone?
Go on.
Sorry, Ryan. Can I butt in quickly?
Yeah.
That thing with the beaver.
Yeah.
When we was going on BBR the other day, Deb put a post on Pages of the Unknown. I got a message from Facebook saying this is a lot. This is not true. It's false. It never happened, and the people involved have never admitted that it ever happened. So can you please remove it and/or report the person that posted it?
No.
Yeah, I woke up to that
already, Andrew. Oh wow.
That's crazy, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it never happened, and so on and so on. I thought, cheers, Mr. Zuckerberg.
So what I was saying before is I went off and I come back in. You were talking about the moon. Were you on about the radiation barrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Van Allen belt.
Yeah. There's also what they're called the firmament as well.
The what? Sorry.
Is that not the same thing?
No. Apparently, it's like a big
filament.
The firmament, yeah. It's on, Van Braun, the scientist, German, the Nazi scientist Van Braun. He was like running the space program. Yeah, on his gravestone, it says about the firmament, and then it puts in the verse of Psalms 19.1 from the Bible, and it's basically he was basically saying all this stuff that we never left. And he was head of the, I think it was NASA at the time.
He was, yeah. He got shipped over, didn't he, after the war? And he was working on B-2 rockets and stuff.
Yeah. Picking up littering parks now.
So the firmament's different. I think the firmament's different to the radiation barrier.
Isn't that the outer atmosphere?
Mr.
The
Jack.
firmament.
Basically, it's like the only way I've ever understood it was like it's a big dome around Earth.
Oh yes, there's a book by, is it Dan Brown, called The Dome?
Yeah, it's in scripture.
Similar sort of thing, yeah. And it's like, is it based on the Stephen King series? Is it Stephen King?
I'm not sure.
Something like that. There was a TV series back in the early 2000s or 90s called The Dome. And the same sort of thing. I remember one of the first scenes, a light aircraft, and it crashes into it and just explodes. And then people realise they're stuck in this pretend world.
Bit like we're in now with COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lockdown, not allowed out. Just got 101 places or what go. Yeah.
I've been delivering the vaccination things for that.
Oh, you
are. How many did you keep?
Yeah.
How much are they, Andrew?
You know that blue liquid he's drinking? It's in that.
I'll sort you out for £200 a pop.
That's why it's different
I'm
colour.
immune to everything now.
Vaccine Andy.
Yeah, it is a Dome by Stephen King. Yeah, I've got the book. I'm sure it's Dan Brown who wrote the book. Book's about that thick.
Oh, wow.
Gets thicker as you read it. So,
I mean, unless they have found a way of getting out, who knows? Me personally, I don't think we did.
This is another thing, right? This is my next question, and I do want to have this discussion with someone. People that believe that the Earth is flat. How do we actually know it is spherical? None of us have been up there and took photos of it. We go what NASA have told us. We don't. None of us actually know that the Earth is round.
Yeah, but there is photos out there of it
Who
being
took them?
like an apple shape.
But Google Earth have admitted they overlay clouds. If you look at the pictures, clouds is the same cloud going all the way through it in different parts.
Stitchy images.
Same with the waves. Yeah, the guy who does it has admitted that's his job. He uses Photoshop. But who has, out of everyone here now, that was 4 or 5 in the room, there's 16 people watching. How many of us, 15 because I'm on it, how many of us have actually been out the Earth's atmosphere and took a picture of Earth and say, yes, it is round?
Yeah, I do that regular, mate. I'm always up there.
That's the only 100% way to confirm it. That's the only way to do it. So if we
do it yourself.
If we start asking the viewers if they can send in a couple of quid, maybe we can get a rocket and get up there.
Couple of quid.
In the next 1,000 years or so. All chip in.
Yeah.
And build a rocket. Alan's in charge.
I'll light the rockets.
That's what I'm thinking.
They can get cameras.
From Flat Earth, from Flat Earth Society paid £20,000 for a special kit that proved the Earth was flat. Sadly, it was proved to be round.
Yeah, because they've got so many miles between the radiation barrier and the firmament, so they're going to be able to have cameras up there, so they are going to take pictures.
Deb Tingett was just put, they use a fisheye lens, so it's going to make it look rounder.
Correct. And also,
it's like with the GoPro, the camera that we use when we go out is got the action cam. Their fisheye lens. You go about 20 foot in front of you, and it starts bending round. So I don't know.
How do you explain
this?
Don't
know if I believe that.
Obviously, I take it everyone here has been on a flight. Yeah?
Yes.
On an aeroplane.
Yeah.
When I flew to America, the captain come on the tannoy thing and he says, we are flying at 40,000 feet and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you can literally see the curvature of the planet through the window. So how do you explain that?
Right.
Well, I don't know. But when we were telling you,
Andy, at the time,
you could what?
Did you have fish eyes in at the time?
Well, no, that was before the in-flight meal. Even in the in-flight meal, all I got was a bag of flaming peanuts. I was sat on the plane for pissing hours. American Airways for you.
Me personally, I don't believe in the flat Earth.
I don't either.
I don't believe it's flat.
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure Earth's shaped more like an apple because there's.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, how can we prove it's not?
Well, we can't.
We just have to go what we just have to go what other people tell us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, have you heard of Admiral Richard Byrd?
Richard Byrd, yeah, who flew into the.
He claimed to have even gone into the Hollow Earth at the opening at North Pole.
Yeah.
And they're also at
found all these other continents and islands and different animals and life forms and plants and everything.
Saw the mammoth that's supposed to be extinct.
Correct. You saw a few of them actually.
So that's what I mean by the it's like an apple where it's got like two sort of both poles. It goes in. That's why there's no fly zones above them. You can't fly over.
It's freezing.
It's not because of that. It's because of the magnetic poles.
You can't it'll drag you in.
Reading. You can't get no readings there, compass-wise. That's why they avoid it. Otherwise, they could go any direction.
Yeah, that's fine. But isn't that the distraction, though, of the real truth? What's actually what the location can lead you to?
But
because if people flew above the North Pole, I know about the compass and the magnetic field and that. But if people saw what's actually below then you'll see an opening.
They have flown over, but like in smaller aircraft.
The thing is, though, when you fly to the North or South Pole, it doesn't matter what direction you're going to be travelling. You're at 0 degrees anyway.
Mm.
So there is no north, east, south, or west at that point.
No. And you won't know which direction. Either.
You've got every degree to choose from at that exact point of 0.
I mean, that's the perfect cover-up, though, isn't it, for the real reason why they don't want you near there?
Who says they don't want you there?
Well, you're not allowed. I don't think you're allowed there anyway, Alan. Really?
Yeah.
There's a no-fly zone in it.
Huh?
No-fly zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm on about on foot.
I'm pretty sure there's restrictions over Antarctica. You know, these things just turn up there. Yeah, there is. Yeah. So, which
Obama went.
Just what you said about that.
Obama went a few years ago when he was president. He was there for a few days, and no one knows why he went. Nothing ever came from it.
We're about Antarctica, the South Pole, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation about that.
The Little America.
The Russians are involved as well, mate.
Mate, so we've all got bases there, mate. We've all got bases there, mate. Defo. The Nazis were there.
The South Pole.
The
South Pole. There's no animals that live there because it's too cold. So there's nothing to worry about.
The Yetis there.
Polar bears and that live in the North Pole. The Yetis in the Himalayas. Do you not know?
Anywhere there's snow.
Himalayas. Telling you, I've seen it.
I'm sure they said there's a white beaver there as well, didn't you?
I didn't know a beaver is part of the rodent family until I researched it today.
You're joking.
No, I thought it was a guinea pig, just a bigger version.
Well, a guinea pig is a rodent.
Is it?
Yeah.
Guinea pig's not a rodent, though, is it?
No, I thought it ain't.
It's a part of the same family, though.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
They look the same, though. If you wouldn't know, you'd just say, wouldn't you? It's like a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Hey, go back to what you said about
the bear earlier. Like a scruffy beaver.
A guinea pig looks really nice on a sandwich with mayonnaise and lettuce and tomato.
Alan, there's a message for you there.
What, the nice bit?
The last one.
The nice bit.
The emoji.
That's nice.
Yeah. Hello, Karen.
Hi,
Hello,
everyone in the chat. Hi, everyone in the room. And hi, everyone in the chat. I've just spent the best part of an hour trying to get in the chat. And I can't get in the chat. So I don't know who's in there. I know Deb's in there. Deb Singleton. Yeah, I can't get in it. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I've been listening, but I can't see what any of you are chatting about. So I am sorry. Yeah, I did get on. I got on the live feed on YouTube, but I just can't get in the chat. So I just left it and just stayed in. Yeah, it don't matter. It don't matter. I'll catch it up.
No, you're in now anyway.
I'm in anyway. Yeah, I'm just saying I couldn't see what all the guys are chatting about, so I don't know who's in there. So I'll just say hi to everyone. I presume it's the usual crew. So
yeah.
Anyway, back to what you was talking about, flat Earth, round Earth. I was with you, and I was going with you, Andy, more like an Easter egg shape.
Yeah. Nearer the equator, it thickens out apparently.
Yeah.
Well, they say it's not a perfect circle anyway, don't they? They have said that for a while.
An egg.
Yeah.
Egg shape.
Yeah, more of an egg shape.
And don't forget,
an oval.
You've got the tidal pull. You've also got the pull off the moon as well when that circles us.
Don't forget, we have the Earth tilt and the winter solstice. And it tilts back at summer or spring, whenever it is. So you have that pulling and pushing every 6 months. So we done. Bye.
Okay.
Anyone listening, go quiet.
That was a short one.
What about alien life on the moon then? Does anyone think there's people occupying the moon?
I do.
I do.
I do.
I don't think they naturally live there, but I think there's bases on there.
Bases, yeah.
There's something on there.
Don't know if it's from us, but there's definitely something.
Well, we say alien life. How do you define alien life?
Well, did you see the thing about Mars this week? They found a big black hole, or a big black spot, and they don't know what it is on the surface of Mars. They think it's a crater, but they can't seem to see how deep it goes.
They're always finding stuff on
Excuse
Mars,
me.
aren't they? I'm always seeing images. Is it the Mars? It's the Mars rover, isn't it? And when it's taking its images, I'm constantly seeing images of it's supposedly seeing like a skull of this or a figure of that.
They're like lost cities. It looks like a lost city of some description.
Yeah.
How did they get the Mars robot even through the belt and that?
Well, this is why they go for robots. It's easier to get through the belt, isn't it? Unlike human beings, it like microwaves us. Right. So that's what they're trying to say. That's it. That's why everything's going a bit like autonomous.
Drone.
Okay. Yeah. So the research I've done with obviously all these races and aliens and stuff, blah blah blah. They reckon Mars was exactly like Earth.
What the hell was that?
Bad feedback.
Who was that banging then?
That was I had bad feedback.
I had banging. I heard banging and then dead bad feedback. And I thought the banging was in my house, but there's nothing here.
I heard.
I didn't even hear the banging.
So what I heard was.
I had 4 knocks.
I didn't.
I heard 4 knocks and then I got really bad feedback.
Yeah, I've got feedback. I didn't hear the knock.
I thought it came from you, Karen.
There's nothing here, only me and the cat. Look.
No.
Off the shoulder
cat. Alan, you up to your old tricks again?
No, it's not me this time, I promise you.
The door's shut. I've got the door shut, guys. So the door's shut tonight, so I can't even say it's the kids because they're quiet.
I heard it, but it definitely wasn't from me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. If it was me, it'd be 3 knocks.
Well, I heard 4 knocks.
3 times.
Yeah.
And then really bad feedback.
I didn't get any feedback at all.
Rich is the same as me. We only heard the feedback. I didn't hear the knocks.
Yeah, I was coming to you.
Nelly heard the knocking.
Well, I heard
all I
both.
could hear, because I must admit, all I can hear is Ryan talking because his mic is that close. It's quite loud with my headphones on.
That's his Rolo.
Oh, why did you have to mention Rolos? I keep forgetting to piss it by some.
Look, she mentioned Easter eggs. It didn't make you hungry. What's up with you?
I don't like it. That's why. Rolos are different. They're yummy.
Yeah, he's definitely knocking.
And then you got Deb mentioning cake, like last Tuesday.
No one mentioned cake. People keep asking me, saying there's going to be cake on it. There's not going to be cake.
Did anyone have an helicopter to go over their house or anything?
No.
No. I got my blinds open.
Yesterday.
No.
Right.
Not
Live in Northampton. It's posh around here.
Ew, so sorry.
Definitely not.
Get you.
Well, it's quiet here. All the scallies are in. I honestly don't know what that knock was, but I did think it was here in my room.
It sounded it came from you.
Yeah, it did. I agree with you, but I don't know what the feedback was.
No.
Don't know.
Did any of the guys in the chat?
No.
Hang on, I want to try something. Ryan,
Nelly heard it.
Put your face close to the camera a minute. Put your face close to the camera a minute and say something.
It might crack, mate.
No, because I think because you did get a bit closer to
NIB.
speak. Because it was weird because you was almost like moving in and speaking, and then that's when I heard the feedback. I don't know. Weird.
Whatever.
Trying to put some, a theory.
In all fairness, the audio's been pretty good tonight.
Yeah, to be fair, I can hear it.
Well, I checked the internet. We reset it actually because it wasn't working. And I checked the download speed, and it's at 109 meg.
What the hell was that?
That's with Virgin.
Did you hear that again?
I heard say it, Alan.
That was only in my right ear then.
Was it like a vibrating fit, like a vibration noise?
Yeah. But it's only in the right ear. I thought it was.
There you go, cake for everyone.
Hey!
Why?
We've all got cake.
No,
that was weird.
You have to lick the screen.
I'm going to try and eat my laptop now. And laptops don't taste very nice.
You went that quick.
Oh, God, we're back. Yeah, get some weird feedback. That's weird.
So we was literally talking about the Mars, weren't we?
Yeah, Mars.
Mars. So what I was saying was that the research I've done is apparently in our distant past that Mars was exactly like how Earth was, but it got burnt out. So it's sort of all the animals that we've got on here today and stuff were actually there and they got moved.
Well, don't forget Mars is quite a bit smaller than the planet Earth, and it's not.
Well,
I mean, like with how it flourished with water and plant
fauna and all that. Yeah,
they reckon the magnetosphere wasn't strong enough to keep the atmosphere or something. That's what they say anyway.
Wow.
I reckon it got nuked, got attacked.
You never know. There's a lot of structures, aren't there, that you're finding on there? Like me with rice on this table.
Do you reckon, guys, that's where the story of the ark comes from? Then, if you like Raj just said, they brought animals from Mars to Earth. Do you reckon that's where the story of the ark came from?
Good possibility. Right.
Quite possible.
Noah's Ark. I mean Noah's Ark. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
That's what research I've done, and that's from one of the guys that I said for you to research on is Alex Collier. Apparently, he's one of the 4 people around the Earth that's actually in contact with this alien race.
Oh my God!
Oh, stop
I was wondering when Cabaret was going to turn up.
I swear down.
Wow.
Don't you dare bring that to Cannock Chase. Oh my God, don't not bring that to Cannock Chase. Jeez.
Got an itchy nose, hang on. Oh, that's better. Oh,
mate, if you wasn't with a group of people and you was on your own, they would think they've just had a dog man sighting.
It's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, mate, that's pretty cool.
Here's a question.
Mate. That's awesome.
Yeah, here's a question. That was just put. Do you think Mars became obsolete and abandoned from Earth? Yeah, I do, but I reckon we're going back to try and make it habitable again. Can't say it.
Absolutely.
Habitable.
Totally agree.
Or trying to read, not so much, because have you heard about these people that supposedly have been there and they've been living there for like the last 30, 40 years with all these different Marines and all that go up there and they live there and they're trying to revegetate it.
Bit like the film The Martian, but in reality. Yeah.
But this is we're saying about the belt, the radiation belt, about them getting there. How do we know they're not using portals to get there rather than travelling?
Yeah. Easier way.
How do we know they're not going Stargate?
They've got the knowledge. They have the knowledge. The governments know there's Bigfoots and everything out there. They know.
Or
we've already come from there,
alien spacecraft to get there.
Right. Here's one for you then. So when Mars was at its end,
habitable.
No, when it was coming to like its last day. How do we know they didn't put a man and a woman in a pod and sent them down to Earth, and that was the original Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
It's Adam and Steve.
Earth is the nearest planet that
it is nowadays, right?
organisms.
It is nowadays. Jesus Christ.
But if you're saying that, Andy, with a human species like we are now, or a giant species like some believe.
I don't know.
Do you think that we've evolved into what we are now from, say, the two people that came down in the pod?
Possibly.
Or do you think
we don't know if they was human?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Human
so
form.
We've evolved from what if they bred with the life that was already here? Because they had to have been life already here, otherwise they wouldn't come. They had to have been something here for them to come here. So have they bred with the life that was here? Because there was only the two of them, and we get bored, don't we? Do you know what I'm saying? Or have they been sent to like people? The other theory is they've been sent to breed with us to make us what we are now, and they're coming down to watch over us. Yeah, to populate, and they are our makers, and they're watching us all the time to see if we fuck up, basically. Because there's that theory, isn't there?
They're not doing a very good job, though, are they? Because we've done a lot.
I think they fell asleep the last 10 years.
If I remember rightly, correct me if I'm wrong, but when UFOs started actually appearing was when we actually started threatening to nuke each other, if I'm right.
No, the thing is, UFOs
way before
they're in the Bible.
Thousands of years.
Right.
Yeah, I was
by like Leonardo and all that, and they've got
during the World War.
Well, they've got things in the sky behind them. We don't know if it's a UFO, but
well, I was watching a guy last night. I don't know if you've heard of him, Mike Cleland or something, and he was going on about owls having a connection with UFOs and aliens. I was speaking to them about it briefly. She's there in the chat. Owls, and he said about cave paintings depicting owls. Yeah, so it's got to go further back. Like, do you know what I'm saying? If it's like what he was talking about was a lot of people see owls, because you never see owls. Owls are not something we all see every day. They're not, you know, they're not like pigeons. You're lucky if you see one. So he was saying that these people,
I do.
He's seen an owl as well, but I think he's I'm not too sure, but I think he's an abductee, and other abductees have seen owls and then seen UFOs, or they've lost time. You know, like other people have said, they've lost time. And and he was so obviously these are all different stories of different owls that people have seen, 4-foot owls, like 2-foot owls, whatever. But then they always have like some sort of alien connection after it. But then he said they were like stone carvings, like cave paintings of owls.
But as well, if you look at an owl's face, just the face,
it looks like what you see as an alien.
Resemble a greyling.
Yeah.
How much does it resemble it?
Well, that's what he was talking about, and he was saying a lot about number sequences and it's just all mad crazy stuff to do with owls, and it was mad when you think especially where I live, you're lucky if you see an owl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So did you know?
That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know
to see an owl.
Well, there's all different theories, isn't there? Like they said, it's to do with death and darkness, and that the messengers are death, and all sorts of mad stuff like that. He was saying. I wrote a few things down. What he said, it was mad because I've never come across it before. But then all night I kept thinking, well, when you look at some owls, they're very alien looking, aren't they? But then they use owls, don't they, for everything as a messenger. He even said it himself, like in Harry Potter. Harry has an owl that is his messenger. It delivers messages and letters. So that and it crops up a lot that they use the owl as the messenger. So his theory was kind of what he was saying was the what you see, going back to what Andy was saying before about colours and how we perceive things. We've been taught to see something in a specific way. So obviously, our brains are trained to see a certain thing in a certain way. So are we seeing an owl, or because that's what our brains been trained to see? Big goggly eyes and an head that, you know what I mean? No shoulders, whatever. That's an owl. But is it an owl? Is it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like Andy was saying before, what I perceive as red, you might not perceive as red. It's the way your mind works. You did it right at the beginning. You drew a stick man. How your brain's been taught to draw a stick man. I didn't see that stick man. I saw a stick man made of sticks, made of twigs, like the Green Man of the Forest stick man. Do you get me? So your perception of a stick man was totally different to mine. So this guy's going on about owls. So are they owls or are they greys?
It's like the Mothman at Point Pleasant. That's
similar. That's very similar, isn't it? Because
it looked like a giant owl.
Guys, don't they?
Yeah. And then it's like it had no neck; it's just wings. And then they said when they said they seen it, it was like shuffling as it walked, like an owl or a bird would. But then, just before the bridge collapsed, it was seen perching on about 2/3 of the way down.
Yeah.
Hey?
On top of something, wasn't it? On one of the.
Yeah, it was on top of the bridge that was West Virginia, Point Pleasant. When it happened, was it Christmas Day?
It wasn't pleasant on that day when that fell.
No, there's loads of stuff that have happened around there.
Mothman, or did it sort of stop around that era?
No, there's been reports of it round here.
No.
Between Northampton and Bedford. From what I can remember, there's been a Mothman report on that area, like the Newport Pagnell kind of way, going out towards where Turvey is, where you cut through near Olney, like that area. But was it a giant owl?
What? Just the one spotting, or was this?
I don't know if it was one. I had a quick look on the internet, and it was on. When I first started the Facebook page, I was looking for stuff around the east of England, and like a lot of it was Norfolk and Suffolk, and there's a couple of things around that area as well. But I know there is one in Cornwall. I can't remember when it was. I think it was the 80s or the 90s. There's a family out, and this was like some giant owl. Excuse me. It's some giant owl or something. But this family, I can't remember the story proper.
Yeah, you've got some family in Cornwall. I could ask them about it. They've come up with all manner of strange stuff.
Does Deb know that? Does Deb know?
1991. It was early 90s. Without looking, I couldn't tell you the exact details, but I've heard that a few times.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was on one of hers.
There's
one of the podcasts. Yeah, there's a podcast that I listen to. I'll get to that in a minute. The Bohemian Grove, what they do in America, at the back of Mount Rushmore, that's a giant owl, is their symbol.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like Illuminati and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But going back to what was I saying? That's Deb does know. The Owl Man of Maunan. Sure, it is like 91, 92. There's a podcast that I listen to in America. It's called Paranormal Roundtable, and he's covered it a couple of times. But I can't remember listening onto
Moan.
The podcast that Deb does.
I know where that is.
Well, this guy reckons that owl. Well, this guy was reckoning that owls are like there's something to do with bridges. They're seen a lot on bridges. Yeah, but they're seen at bridges, and they're saying that bridges are like a crossover to, like a portal in between,
from
like
what I call
between. Yeah, from one side to the other. Yeah, and that's why they're seen in places like that. I mean, obviously they're seen on the side of roads and trees and what have you, but he said that bridges are connected. It was when you said bridges, then I remembered him saying it.
Yeah. To be honest with you, all the driving I've done, I've seen. We went out for a drive just after the first lot of lockdown had stopped. We went for a drive and we drove up the A1, like towards the top end of Peterborough, and we was near that castle, Beaver Castle, Ryan.
Yeah, I know that.
We was driving past there. And we're heading back to Northampton. And an owl flew right in front of the car.
Did somebody just mention Beaver again?
And that's the only time. That's the only time we've seen an owl in about 5-6 years.
I've only ever had
a
close encounter with one. A close encounter. We actually we was on the bike and we was coming back from Blackpool, and we broke down just where that Golden Church is near Charlie, near the Botany Bay place.
Oh,
and the
Mormon Church.
Up near the Mormon Church. We had to push the motorbike up the hard shoulder around the roundabout, anyway. And I was sat waiting while he went to find a petrol station with the bike, obviously. And this barn owl, I was just having a smoke leaning on the fence, and this barn owl just like glided over my head like that. And I'm one of them because but I like birds of prey and stuff. I've got a thing for birds of prey. So I was just like breathless, like, watched it go. I felt it go over me. That's the only encounter I've ever had with an owl. But I can't remember seeing anything else after.
I have actually got a female that lives in my area here. I can hear it every single night. I can hear it.
There is one that lives here, but I've never really caught. I think I've seen it, but I can't be sure because it's dark in it. So
I've also got a few bats as well that fly around the house as well.
Oh, we get bats all the time. We're batty with bats where we live.
Where I lived for growing up in Swinton, the chimneys was all closed off. I remember there was an owl moved into the chimney. Basically, it lived there for about 5 years. You could hear it every single night. It was a nightmare trying to go to sleep. Oh, you can hear an owl in the chimney brass echoing through the house. It was there forever.
dear.
You see, I would love that. You see, when I hear the owl, if I'm sat here with the window open and I hear the owl, that's it. I'm out there, and I'll sit there until I'm frozen to death, waiting to hear it again. Because I love all
you'd
that.
hear
I love
it.
anything like.
You'd hear it like you'd hear a pigeon in your garden every 30 seconds going off.
It don't bother me that. It don't bother me.
It is when you're trying to go to sleep.
So do we believe the owl is a symbol? Or do we not?
I don't know.
You don't?
It's a symbol, but whether it's good or bad, I don't know. A lot of people say it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, Andy. But I don't know whether it's like it's a symbol. It's probably a symbol of worship.
A lot of it, what's it called? Superstition, isn't it? A lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is.
See, if you talk about birds and superstition, I'd say something like a crow or a raven. I wouldn't say an owl.
Yeah, because the owl's supposed to be a wise creature, isn't it? That's how we perceive an owl, as wise, the wise old owl. Yeah, it's always used on books or in references to teachers or academic
Disney films.
Or Disney films. Yeah, but I don't know. He was going back to what Andy said about the colours and how we perceive things. So that was my point. Are they seeing owls or are they seeing greys? Because one guy said the one he saw was 4 foot tall. I mean, I know we've got some big owls, but that's a big owl if it's 4 foot tall.
That's a very big owl.
Bigger than an eagle owl.
It's like the 200-pound beaver.
Have you seen the harpy eagle?
What was that, Andy?
Have you ever seen a picture of a harpy eagle?
Yes, with a little ear tufts on.
They're my favourite eagle.
How do they look like they're something from another planet?
Yeah, and we all know what harpies are.
It's their feathers, isn't it, on the head?
You've got a crest that goes around their head. You've got your eyes are more front facing as well. They're not so much at the side, and they just the way they stand, like
eagle eyes are on the side anyway. They're at the front.
I know that now, but it's like they stand there like they're better than everyone. The way the persona and everything about it.
It's because they are, mate. I don't think you want one of them attacking you. Do you know the harpy eagle? The harpy eagle also has the largest claws of any eagle species on the planet. It's got the largest claws.
Yeah, I know. I was reading about it the other day.
They are deadly weapons. Got very deadly.
2 minutes, then we're going to close it.
That's what they said when they landed on the moon. The eagle has landed.
Got 2 minutes and we're going to close it. So
it's all quiet again.
I'm not too convinced with the owl personally. I know, like you said, it is a symbol of the Illuminati and stuff like that, and it is one of the most efficient killers, isn't it? The owl, out of all the eagles and stuff, it's completely silent when it flies, and it can see all the way round as well. So, but like you say, a 4 foot eagle, that's unheard of. And like even the harpy eagle, I don't even think is 4 foot, is it?
No, it stands about 3 to 3, just over 3 feet
tall. Going back to the harpy eagle, right? Obviously, it's named after a harpy, which is isn't it a flying creature or something? A serpent, yeah. So a demonic sort of flying serpent. It's quite scary in itself to be named after one of those. Really.
Well, you see the size of the claws, you'll understand why.
Yeah, but I wonder what the size of that is compared to an eagle owl or something. I think the European eagle owl is the biggest. I'm not too sure. I'm not an owl expert. I'm beginning to sound like
I'm not sure. You know what? I think them harpies are bigger, aren't they? That's the picture that I've seen. Yeah.
Now,
see, that's a big.
That is a beautiful bird. That is remarkable.
Wow.
Now,
you know, get a better this one.
I had an ex-girlfriend who had now for a pet. Yeah, that's epic.
Wow.
Look at it, the bottom left. Look how it's
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Seeing that looking
That
from the
looks
tree
like
from the right angle, you could quite understand getting freaked out of that.
yeah.
You know,
I'd shit myself and run.
because in woods you've got different lights streaming in from different angles, and seeing that one on that left-hand side there, that's just downright creepy.
Yeah.
You get green eye shine.
I know, but
that
face with the size of that bird, you just seen the size of that sat next to that man, and then that face.
Yeah.
You'd crap yourself if you saw that.
You'd pop and run, wouldn't you? You'd be gone. You're not hanging about. I'll have running.
I would. I'd run for it. It's my dream bird. I've always wanted one of them. I'd love it.
Right.
Give it a nice big hug and a kiss.
Gonna have to close this now. Sorry. Even though it was a good flow.
We got to get up early tomorrow as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the podcast to record in the morning.
Only because he's got on holiday next week and he can't come on.
Oh yeah. There's no live feed next week because I'm on holiday. Sorry.
Where are you going? It's lockdown.
Costa del Whitley.
Going back garden, front garden, Audi, and Tesco.
Oh, bless you.
Probably B&M somewhere in between. But no, it's like since I started this group and that, I've not stopped since me and Alan went on that walk on the 13th of November. Yeah, I've not had a day off from this yet. So 9 weeks, I think, 8-9 weeks solid. So
you deserve a holiday. You deserve.
I know, I do. We were supposed to be going away, but obviously because of lockdown, we can't go anywhere. So it's one of them, innit?
Deb, tell him they don't get a holiday. Deb will tell you you do not get a holiday.
There's no rest for the wicked.
I'm not tell me about it. No, we're going out on a few walks. Going to do some daytime investigations. I've got me action camera and that set up, so I'm going to plug it into Power Pack so it's constantly recording. So I'm going to upload some of them videos the end of next week or early week after. But then the next live feed will be in 2 weeks today, same time. And then they're going to be every 2 weeks. So I have to have a break.
It's worn out.
Hey?
You all have to start your own. Live feeds. Just do your own live feeds.
But, there's a few bits that me and Ryan are going to be sorting out between now and then anyway. Just to make this a little bit better. Obviously, I've not been able to tell Alan because he's been sleeping most of it.
I don't know what you mean.
So yeah, there's a couple of things that me and Ryan's taking over the Instagram page, so that's going to get a little bit better. Or it better add. That'll be worse.
Why have a few beavers on there?
Yeah.
So Ryan's going to be doing that.
It's going to be our new logo.
We're going to be sorting the logo out because we haven't actually got a logo. So rather than keep saying Codes of the Unknown, we'll call it CLTU, Pole 2.
Oh, poor beaver.
Should we put a beaver on it? A beaver and a ghost.
I'm leaving if you put a damn beaver on it.
Sorry, I've missed a bit of that. What's happening?
So,
he's the mascot.
Again.
It's off the shoulder ghost.
Yeah, no.
It's got to
My
be.
daughters love this since when she had it. She wouldn't let go of it. I had to fight her to get it off her.
You'll have to use that picture of that owl, Andy, as the logo.
No.
yeah.
Oh, stop it.
So, thank you for you guys coming on tonight. Thanks for everyone that's been commenting and watching. But we are going to have to call it a night. So, don't want to go too far. So then when watching it back, it gets boring. So, cheers, everyone. And
so it's a good night from me.
2 weeks.
Here we go. Here we go.
From me.
Come on.
Yes.
Good night
Good
from
night
me.
from him.
Yes.
Right.
Good
Thanks for everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
See you later, Rich.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later.
Catch you
Bye.
soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.